The Asian Games. The concept for the Asian Games began in the early 19th century, the aim being to stage a multi-sports event based on the format of the Olympic Games. Originally named the Oriental Games, the first event was held in Manila in 1913 between 6 countries: Japan, Hong Kong, Malaysia, Thailand and the Philippines. The name was changed for the second event to the Far East Championship until 1938, when it was renamed the Oriental Championships. However, due to the outbreak of the Second World War, this event was cancelled. Meanwhile, sports leaders in the South and West regions of Asia were taking the initiative to form the West Asian Games, the first of which were held in India in 1934 under the patronage of the Maharaja Ravindra Singh of Patiala. Afghanistan, Ceylon, India and Palestine took part. The second event was cancelled due to the outbreak of the Second World War and had been scheduled to take place in Jerusalem. During the 14th Olympic Games held in London in 1948, the IOC member from India, Professor Guru Dutta Sondi, put forward a formal proposal to combine all of these events under one umbrella, and subsequently, the Asian Games Federation was founded. The first Asian Games in 1951 were held in Delhi and included 11 countries: Afghanistan, Burma, India, Indonesia, Iran, Japan, Nepal, the Philippines, Singapore, Sri Lanka and Thailand. The 6 sports events were athletics, swimming, football, cycling, weightlifting and basketball. Japan, Iran and India took home the most medals. The second Asian Games were held in Manila in 1954, and this time 19 countries took part in 8 events. Boxing and shooting were added to the program, with Japan, the Philippines and Korea taking the most medals. During the third Asian Games in Tokyo in 1958, the torch relay was introduced. 20 countries took part and new sports included tennis, volleyball, table tennis, hockey, badminton, judo and wrestling. Only 16 countries took part in the 4th Asian Games in Jakarta in 1962, with Japan, India and the Philippines as overall winners. The 5th Asian Games took place in Bangkok in 1966, with 18 national Olympic committees competing in 15 sports. Japan, Korea and Thailand took home the most medals. The location for the 6th Asian Games was to have been Seoul in 1970, but due to political unrest in Korea at that time, the Games were held again in Bangkok. Yachting was added to the roster of events, and the overall winners of the Games were Japan, Korea and Thailand. The location for the 7th Asian Games in 1974 was Tehran, and new NOCs from the West Asian zone participated for the first time, bringing the total to 25 National Olympics committees involved. Fencing and gymnastics were introduced, with Japan, China and Korea gaining the most victories. The 8th Asian Games had to be relocated from Islamabad to Bangkok in 1978. Newcomers Syria, the UAE, Bangladesh, Lebanon, Qatar and Saudi Arabia were among the 4,000 athletes and officials present. Archery and bowling categories were added, and Japan, China and Korea proved victorious once again. Having gained so much ground over the years, the General Assembly decided on September the 16th, 1982, to form the Asian Games Federation. And so it was that prior to the 9th Asian Games, Sheikh Fahed Al-Ahmed Al-Sabah was elected as the first president of the Olympic Council of Asia, along with a Secretary General and 5 vice presidents. Kuwait City was elected to become the permanent headquarters of the OCA. 33 countries competed in 21 events at the 9th Asian Games in New Delhi in 1982, which featured the arrival of the Games mascot, an Indian elephant named Apu. New events included handball, equestrian, rowing and golf. China, Japan and Korea were once again the overall winners. The same year saw the decision taken by the OCA's General Assembly at a meeting in Seoul to create the first Winter Asian Games. These games were held in Japan, in Sapporo City in 1986, a city with previous experience in the Winter Olympics. Japan, China, the DPR Korea, India, Mongolia and Hong Kong attended. The 10th Asian Games in Seoul 1986 were a great success and a prelude to the Seoul Olympics in 1988. 27 NOCs participated and Taekwondo was added. The use of new technologies such as IT, result systems and TV host broadcasting was used for the first time. Many new world records were established and by now, predictably, China, Japan and Korea walked away with most medals. The second Asian Winter Games were also held in Sapporo and included new participants Taipei, China, the Philippines, Kuwait and Iran. 50 days prior to the 11th Asian Games in 1990, planned to be hosted by Beijing, the Olympic Council of Asia lost its president, Sheikh Fahd Al-Ahmed Al-Sabah, due to the invasion of Kuwait by Iraq on August 2, 1990. The OCA's headquarters in Kuwait were severely damaged during the invasion, which prompted tremendous solidarity between the NOCs, and Beijing took over the organizational role. 37 Asian NOCs took part, with over 5,000 athletes and officials present, and new events softball, sepak, takraw, wushu, kabaddi, rowing and baseball joined the long list of sporting events. During the 18th OCA General Assembly, held in New Delhi in 1991, Sheikh Ahmed Al-Fahd Al-Sabah was elected as the new president of the Olympic Council of Asia. Hiroshima, Japan hosted the 12th Asian Games in 1994. This was the first time the Games were not hosted in a capital city. 6,828 athletes and officials attended the event, which involved 42 countries and regions and welcomed new members Kazakhstan, Tajikistan, Kyrgyzstan, Turkmenistan and Uzbekistan. Another important development during these games was the foundation of the Sheikh Fahd Hiroshima Asia Sports Fund. China, Japan and Korea were the top three winners. At the third Asian Winter Games held in Harbin, China in 1996, 17 NOCs and 800 participants secured the growing interest in winter sports. China, Japan and newcomers Kazakhstan scored the highest points. For the fourth time, Bangkok was the host of the Asian Games in 1998. These games were raised to another level by the initiation of an aggressive marketing campaign which proved both positive and beneficial to the concept. New world records were set, numbers rising again to 7,000 athletes and officials. Rugby, billiards, snooker and dance events were introduced, and the big three, Japan, China and Korea, took away the most medals. The fourth Asian Winter Games were hosted by Gangwon in Korea, 1999. The 14th Asian Games, held in Busan, Korea in 2002, involved 44 countries, including newcomers Timor-Leste. 10,000 athletes and officials took part in 38 sports in 420 events. The 5th Asian Winter Games were held in Aomori, Japan in 2003, with numbers up to 1,200 athletes and officials from 30 NOCs taking part. In 2005, a brand new concept was formed by the Olympic Council of Asia, and the first Asian Indoor Games were staged in Bangkok. This event served to highlight the interest shown by the Asian youth in new sports which had not previously been included, or in some cases invented, in the world of Asian sports. The program incorporated the possibility to develop and promote aerobics, dance, extreme sports, electronic sports, futsal, indoor cycling, muay, short course swimming and many others. The first Asian Indoor Games proved highly successful and involved 2,500 athletes and officials, with China, Kazakhstan and Thailand taking away the top number of medals. The 15th and arguably the most spectacular Asian Games were held in Doha, Qatar in 2006 and watched by millions all over the world. Who could forget the mesmerizing spectacle of the young sheikh as he masterfully rode his horse at full speed up all the steps to the top of the stadium? The latest technology, combined with cultural events reflecting the societies of the 45 OCAs, put the Asian Games in a class of its own and no longer a shadow. It was the largest event so far in its history, with over 12,500 taking part. The 16th Asian Games will take place in Guangzhou, China in 2010, featuring cricket as the latest event to be included. The 17th Asian Games is expected to be held in Incheon, Korea. The 6th Asian Winter Games were held in Changchun, China in 2007, with 26 NOCs participating. The 7th Asian Winter Games will take place in Kazakhstan in 2011 by two host cities, Almaty and Astana. The second edition of the Asian Indoor Games were held in Macau in 2007, with over 3,500 athletes and officials participating in 17 sports events. China, Thailand and Hong Kong won most of the medals. The third Asian Indoor Games will be held in Vietnam in the cities of Hanoi and Ho Chi Minh. With the concept of combining sports with tourism and increasing the popularity of beach sports in Asia at low operational costs, the Olympic Council of Asia has created the Asian Beach Games. The first of these events was held in Bali in October 2008. The second, in Muscat, Oman, will be held in December 2010. The third, in Haiyang, China, in 2012. The games will include beach handball, beach soccer, beach sepak takraw, beach volleyball, beach bodybuilding, dragon boat, and water sports like jet ski and windsurfing. Other events to look forward to from the Olympic Council of Asia are the Asian Martial Arts Games, to be held in Bangkok in 2009, and the Asian Youth Games, to be held in Singapore in 2009. Sincere thanks and congratulations must be extended to all the sports leaders in the many locations in Asia who took the original and creative initiative to bring Asian sports together under a large and beneficial umbrella, which has traveled such a long and arduous journey to success.